He's loving the edge where he can blow you out of bounds and he can just lower his level maybe a foot, where Sanderson's actually lower their level sometimes 2 feet, 3 feet, go all the way to that John Smith level sometimes.
There's Cale Sanderson, third-year coach at Iowa State, head coach.
Well, this will be fun to see because, as we talked about, Bono being a freestyler, he doesn't have to worry about coming out from underneath. So we'll see what kind of job Sanderson can do on top, because if he's a grinder, it can make life miserable for those guys that are used to wrestling freestyle for all these years.
Yeah, the first move was definitely Sanderson's. He jolted him, he jammed him, and he's got his ankle hooked. So
work here, gentlemen, work here.
And Bono actually got knocked off his base right away, but he's short and he's coming up there and he's going to get out. I don't think Sanderson, he kind of let him go at a certain point. I think he could have still maybe drove him and pushed him and could have worked a little harder there, but it's 1-1. It's going to come down to some savviness.
Work to the middle.
He missed that low shot there. That was a good reaction by Bono, but Sanderson was definitely down at that ankle. He lowered the level and reached across, and he just picked that foot straight up. See that movement? That movement is critical for setups.
Well, it'll be interesting to see if, with we're down to about a minute to go in this match. If Bono's going to get fatigued, that's where he's going to lose that reaction time. We'll see.
A little slower on that one, but he did get it back in about the third jolt.
Pick it up, gentlemen. Pick it up. Let's go.
Sanderson looks, fairly confident there the way he's kind of moving out there.
Well, the closest we've come to a takedown was that first period where Bono blasted him off the edge. We'll see if Sanderson can get one of his own back here.
Well, if he gets in low at the ankle, he's going to have a pretty good chance of finishing.
This just kind of reminds you, Dan, doesn't it? You won 6 titles as a wrestler and 10 titles as a coach, but so many of them were against Iowa State, and this is great for wrestling again, I think, for the Midlands and for wrestling to have this kind of team race. Iowa State up 2.5 points right now after 149 pounds.
Well, I'm sure this is a big match for the team race. So Barner's coming up too, and you got some other situations, but Iowa State meet the next match, I believe.
Overtime. Now the first minute is sudden death, sudden victory actually, and if either wrestler scores, it's over. If neither wrestler scores, we go to the 2 30-second periods, and the best score wins. It's 2 30-second matches. If it's still tied, we go back to sudden victory, and then we start over with 2 30-second matches. And we'll talk about riding time and where that comes in the second set of 30-second matches if we get there.
Well, you would think the longer this would go, the more advantage it would be to Sanderson's conditioning.
It could be. Maybe it's more of the age thing, but Bono's a very,
work to the middle.
He's a seasoned athlete, but he's also always been known never to really tire up too much. So, he doesn't use a lot of extra energy out there, but, I haven't really noticed a whole lot, maybe just a little bit of slowing down.
Well, he sure is powerful. There's no question about it. It's tough to move a fire plug and get a shot off on it.
Actually, Sanderson's moving his head pretty good right now. He was.
We're going to go to overtime, our first overtime match of the evening here at 157 pounds. And it'll be a we're going to go to the 30-second match portion of the overtime. And Sanderson gets his choice on whether he wants up or down. He chooses down.
Watch your shards, guys. I'm going to pause again. Okay? I'm going to pause.
Bono seems a little bit frustrated. Just kind of, I don't know if he's seeing too many openings on his feet right now. And he knows he has to now wrestle on the bottom. And it's going to be a factor, at least during the second time.
There's almost one escape, but Bono stays on. And they call stalemate. First time it's a stalemate.
They let you get away with that one time before they hit it. They call it for stalling.
I don't really see how that should be called stalling at all, but it's just, I guess that's just the nature of the position, because if a guy tries to come up, he's going to lose it. Now, if he's just hanging, but both guys are moving so much, I would, I just couldn't. I'd have, if they did that again, I'd have to call another stalemate. But you don't have to worry about it.
1 point escape, 1-0,
it's 2-1.
2-1 in favor of Sanderson.
From the regulation time.
Well, now we're going to see if Sanderson has 30 seconds of right. Oh,
Bono's
what
in
a
on him.
shot.
Bono's
What
in on
a
him.
shot. He needs to finish. He needs to finish.
I think he's got him.
Wow.
2 points. But again, the match is not over.
They're
That's
going to
right.
wrestle that next 30-second period.
It's
That's
3-2. Bono will be down. Advantage Bono.
Let's go.
That was a terrific shot on Bono's
down.
part.
Head outside shot, picked up near. He got to the edge, and then instead of driving, which could have went out of bounds, he dropped his hips under, which he didn't have to drop very much.
He got it. He popped that head and came right in nice. He got it.
And here's where he did it really nice right here. Boom. Just like that. And he stopped the roll through by closing the gap. When he went to dive, which a lot of kids dive, he just went right down on him, and he had no space to roll.
Bono chooses down. The score is 3-2. Now it's one more escape. Bono, it's 4-2. Sanderson's going to need 2 points to take it into the next sudden victory portion. If he doesn't tie it up, Bono will win in this overtime.
When he come out of that, he had his ankle, but
I was going to say,
there's not much time. You know, you only get 30 seconds, so there's only 10 seconds to go yet. So, and he has good tight front headlock. You know that these freestyle wrestlers, they've used the front headlock a lot. So.
You okay?
Well, 9 seconds left. A very exciting
I think he
match.
choked him.
He just got choked a little bit. You're right. He had to get the blood back to his head. But
They're
you know,
used to moving around the mat too.
with this little time, you really only have time for a couple of shots, and he
Bono
made a
wins.
valiant effort.
Iowa State scorer Cyler Sanderson does not get any more points for the Cyclones. It's still only a 2-point lead for Iowa State over Iowa. And now we're going to go to 165 between Iowa and Iowa State, a rematch from the meet a few weeks earlier. Dan Gable, thank you so much for joining us, and great Midlands legend, great Midlands champion. Thank you, Dan.
Thank you.
And we'll be back for that 165-pound match. More wrestling from the Big Ten Network.